Vampyr Gaming here. Today we are going to be talking about this here, Nico Robin. If you're unfamiliar, so one, she has static banish, so she's like the Yamato but with banish instead, just has a static keyword. And then when attacking, you may trash one card with a trigger from your hand, add up to one Dawn card from your Dawn deck, and set it as rested. So it's pretty much like Pudding, except you don't have to flip your life face up. You actually have to minus a card to ramp, which is slightly less economic. And there are ways to deal with that, but in this list, we're really not dealing with that. But we'll talk a little bit about it more here. So you have to trash a trigger. So in this list, we're playing 22 trigger targets. Ideally, we're only going to need it once. The curve on Nico Robin is you go 1, you go 3, then you go 4, because you're going to ramp 1, and then you go 6. Or if you go second, you can go 2, and then you go 4, and then you can ramp to 5, and with Bond Clay, ramp to 6. So your next turn will either be 7 or 8 for turn 3, and then, of course, correspondingly 9/10. I don't think there's any reason to use the effect again to go to 10. We just really want to use it once to get the ball rolling, but way faster on the odd curve. No, sorry, on the even curve than it is on the odd, but we did add a card to kind of help mitigate that. So you could play 4 Bond Clay, but I wouldn't split it right in half with 2 Bond Clay and 2 Zoro, just because the odd curve is very strong already. The even curve, or the odd curve, is very weak. The even curve is very strong, and so I wanted to just help balance that by playing the Zoro. And, of course, him being a Straw Hat was just kind of cool. But, yeah, so we play 2 Bentham or 2 Mr. 2. You add a ramp, you ramp and add an active. Same thing here. You swing. If you have 3 or less life, add an active. We're a 4-life leader, so you just take the first hit, and then you can swing. If they don't swing at you, oh well, because you play this on 3, then you just get to live a life, and it's whatever. But then you're going to 6. And so we play a little bit into the 6 curve because we're going to go 1, 3, 4, 6, probably 8 because we don't want to give up 2 cards to go 9. I just don't think it's worth it. Maybe if you have the Luffy, but you got to be very careful with your cards. But yeah, so ideally I'm going 1, 3 to 4 to 6, then I'll just go to 8. But, of course, one of the best cards in the deck is this Rush Luffy. You -1, you draw 1, so the card replaces itself, giving you a little bit of value on the play, and then you, of course, gain Rush. So with a leader having Banish, a lot of times your opponent's going to counter out of them. And so you really want to create just awkward situations for them. There's also nothing wrong with going, so if you don't see either of these bodies, you can just smack an 8 at them, and they just lose 1 card. Or they give you 2 2Ks, and they're probably just going to lose the 1 card, and you can kind of just go from there. But yeah, this Luffy, they're going to take it. They want their card, and you can play this on turn 4. On turn 4 in either scenario. And then, of course, playing 2 of these just because I thought it was kind of fun, and we do need a 6 curve play. Obviously, the best play is the Nico Robin, but this is really cool, too, especially if he sticks, it gives you 2 banish swings, and then they're just going to lose life. We also added another 2 6 Dawn play. Shout out Narayan. He really inspired me to add it in, and I think it's actually pretty good. He was the guy who just topped with Vegapunk. Actually, he won Treasure Cup with Vegapunk. So we got Douglas Bullet. This is a saucy one of. You can play it again. You go up to 8. You can play this. You don't have to use his effect. You can save it and then really put in some work. You get the rest 2 characters, so you can rest blockers. Think Black Yellow Luffy. You can rest those blockers. Go straight to the dome. They'll never see it coming, and then that's a possible like 16 to the face. And then also just like a really strong game finisher. Again, they don't have any cards in their hand, so you could smack them with a double attack and possibly hit them with something else. So say like you play the Rush Luffy, you go 10, double attack, put them at 0, then you go 11 because you rest their blockers. Boom, it's like over. So huge opportunity there. I think there's the argument to play more, but I just wanted to test him at a 1 of just to see how often he comes up. But I think this is the most underrated card. And, of course, we're playing triggers. We want to play Capone Beige. Beige. I know it's Beige, but everybody says beige. It really gets me. But yeah, everybody knows this card. And then, of course, only playing 3 Gadatsu. I think it just wasn't... I cut 1 just to make room. But, of course, great turn 5 play, especially because they probably counter out of your first swing. Just because if you go 5, they're going to counter out. So against an A5 leader on that turn, they should have 5. And so you can KO anything. Or if they're a 4, again, they still probably counter out if you just poke 5. So you can KO anything that they just played. Frankie! Great trigger. Lets you play it and draws a card so you don't lose any value. And he's a 2K. And then we're playing Portgas Ace. So this, of course, you go down to 1. You drop this. You get Rush. You heal a life. Pretty simple. Pretty great card. We'll talk about some cards that you can play in Nico Robin. And, of course, Yamato's one of them. I decided not to run Yamato just because you can play both. I've seen lists play both, but I decided to take a little bit of a different direction. And then to Bonnie. Bonnie just to create economy, and she's got a decent trigger. So if you can establish this, whenever they take, you get a little bit of cycle. And so I thought that was pretty nice. And, of course, Nami, really great trigger, decent play. You lose a little bit of value if you don't have 3 or less cards, but you might just because the leader effect does kind of tank your economy. So a really good card here. And then we've got Nico Robin. So this is really cool. You can go 8, and then if they take it, they're at 4, and then you ramped 1, then you play this, they trash another life. So they just lost 2 life, and then on the next turn you can play like Lin Lin, and they're going to give you a life. We're also playing 2 Jaguar Esol, just because he's a blocker and you get the trigger. He's the strongest trigger blocker, so you can get the body if you need, which gives you a 5k body, which can come up. So I decided to play him at 2. Again, kind of split up a lot of these things just to really like give it the most, instead of just playing him as one of, just give you a lot of different options, a lot of different plays here. Just because I think that this trigger can come up. It's the same thing as a Veggie, but this one can push you for game if you need. And then we've got Charlotte Lin. This one, of course, Trash Mom. You can trash 1 life of theirs. So if you already hit them with 2 trashes, they're probably just going to give you a life, which gives you a little heal in the mid game. And then, of course, establishes you a nice little threat here as well. And then took the weird approach just because we've got Nico Robin. But this card is really interesting. I've had it like, I think it's underrated. It was doing a lot of work in Vegapunk. And, like, if you hit it on 6, you may trash 1 card from your hand. So you play this, establish a threat. Then your opponent has to get rid of 2. Likely after they just gave you some. Or they haven't even gained any hand card economy. Or they trash 1 life. So they're going to lose 2 cards from their hand. And then every hit from your leader, like, you know, is that much more impactful. Because they, like, oh, in their head, they're thinking, I want to counter out of this. So I think that this is actually really interesting. But I think there's an argument. You could just play 4 Lin Lin. You could also just play for Yamato. Now this is really good. This one is like the best card because again, like hand economy is like one of our base weaknesses, but you pay this, then you Dom -2, so any turn after 10 it's free, and then you're gonna draw 2 cards. So our only card that takes up 10 is gonna be an ace play. Anything else is gonna actually make us go +1. And then, of course, you're the one who should disappear. We only play 8 2Ks because we're playing this, which in my head tells me we're playing 12 2Ks. But then, of course, you know, this last life trigger is so good. And then just being a pseudo 2K is also very nice while also giving a card pseudo 1K because we do play a couple of bricks, that being Ace, Douglas, Lin Lin, and Lin Lin. And so, yeah, this is the list. We'll have some gameplay, but let's go ahead and take a look at some cards that I think are optional for you to play. And we'll kind of go and talk through those. Because there is a full suite of Nico Robin cards. But I think Cracker, obviously, really good trigger, double attack, and he's a 6K. And your opponent, again, probably counters out of your first attack just because it's Banish. So this card could have a lot of potential. I think this could just be a fun little body to play. Shirahoshi, of course, you get the cycle. You hit this out of life, it's really good. I opted not to play it just because I don't think we need it, but it's always good. And then Katakuri, again, another one of those big bodies that you can opt to play. I think Trash Mom Suite is just a little bit better. But then, of course, Yamato, I think you could replace the moms with this easily. A lot of people seem to favor this, but I think the approach that I take is a little bit more aggressive. And it's like, okay, like, I'm going to put you out of life. And then, of course, we have the Douglas Bullet as, like, a nasty possible finisher. Things like that. And then, of course, Onami, you know, you give something Banish, but you have the trigger to KO a character, which I think is also relevant. Like, you don't want to give your leader, but you could give a character Banish, which is why I think we just don't play it, is because our leader static has Banish. But you could hit him with a double attack Banish. What's his name? Douglas. And, of course, Kikunojo. These are cards that just because if your opponent has 3 or less life, you can play them. These are great triggers. The challenge, of course, being they're going to counter out of your first swing. But, again, if you go 8, you get rid of 2, and then next turn you play, they're probably just going to trash life if you go 8. Then you play Robin, you trash that last life, boom, they're at 3. And then the whole land of Wano becomes live. So, like, each one of these are pretty decent. And then, of course, Denjiro being not able to be destroyed by effects, which is really good versus black. Does cost a little bit of Dawn, but very good. Very good. And then he can attack active characters, which is also fun. But each one of these gets to play themselves for free. You don't lose any hand economy, so great options there. And then Kuzan, I was originally trying to play Kuzan because every deck plays a Searcher to some degree or some small drop. And if you tuck it in their life, then your opponent trashes one card from their hand. And I was just like, I just felt those too weak. There's way better effects. And even if I have no counter, I'd rather play it. Now, here's like the whole suite of what you get. The Ohara package. You get on play, give it to one of your Nico Robins, plus 3,000 power for the turn. There's the argument to play this. It is, of course, a very strong buff. It is a 2K as well. So you have the argument to play that. And then Jaguar D. Saul. Of course, we already saw him in the list, but then there's, of course, Darishi. And so you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 2 cards with trigger other than Darishi, and add them to your hand. Then return the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's a +1. It's a +1. It's essentially your own weird searching peel-off. And so you can, of course, add these, get 2Ks, a bunch of nice things. And some people prefer to play that package. But you can also, again, you can just smack them for 8 and make them minus a card. But this essentially allows you to use your leader ability for free because you play this, you search 2, you get rid of 1, you go net negative. You go net 0. So, yeah. And then, of course, the Zoro 4/5, similar trigger to Onami. Onami slightly better, but this, of course, being a slightly better body. Do what you will. But I think that there's the argument to play him. And then Amaru. Amaru, of course, a majority of these having trigger, making them valuable for her effect. And then, of course, you can use this to rest a blocker, which can get you the game. But, again, I like Douglas just a little bit more. But, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into some gameplay. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This would be interesting. Nothing really crazy here. So, I'm going second. So, my curve is 2, 4, 5, 7. I don't have a 4 play, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan. Well, now we have the 6 play. Oh, and now we have a 4 play. That sounded terrible. Yeah, we're going to just go ahead and skip and go straight to this Robin and trash that card. Really just try to eat these resources. They can ramp slightly faster than us, but we can use the attack. Trash 1. Probably just the beige. Beige. I know it's Capone Beige. 9. I'll take. No trigger. I'll draw. We'll draw. Actually, I guess I can swing a 6, but I don't want him to take it. You know? So I just get the trash one. Well, I guess either way they're trashing one, right? And then I can play this Zoro. Or this Linlin, and it's going to cost them a lot of resources. So let's go ahead. Yeah. We're going to play this, then attach 1. We're at 7. We're going to go 8. Yeah. We're going to do this. Gain the Dawn. And we're going to go straight to 8. Yeah, they're going to give us a card. And then I'm going to spit out this Lin, which is going to be nasty and still be able to swing. Oof. 8. I'll take it. We can kind of afford to go down because we got the ace, which is really nice. But, yeah, I guess at this point we just play the Nico Robin. And then we can play ace the next turn. So now they're down a card, and then I get to play this Lin, and it's going to eat more cards. I'm here for it. No trash. And then we've got this Gum Giant. They're down to 1 life. Oh, yeah. They go 9. Maybe they played Newgate here, which is pretty good. We don't actually have a 2K. What do I want to give them? Do I even need this Luffy at this point? Am I obsessed with this Lin when I shouldn't be? Yeah, I figured they were going to go Newgate. I'll take. Gonna draw. See, what's crazy, though, is I get to copy this Newgate. I don't know if they thought that through. Let's see what they do. Because I can go 10, 15, so... They're at 8. Or 16. I can go 16. They need 2K, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Do I just go all in? I could just smack 5 here. Play the ace. Go 10. They have to have 2K, 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 1K, right? 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. But if I'm wrong, I lose. Or they just have to give me 2K, 1K. And I heal a life. Do I just do it all but 1? Because then I should still be able to counter out and live. Because then I have 4K, 5K, 6K, 7K, this, and then this. Sure. I think that's slightly safer. Just make it slightly better math for them. But, yeah. Okay. I'm going first. I don't really have a first play. So we go 1, 3, 4 to 6. We've got the 6, so I'll take it. We're going to draw, and we're going to pass. We also have the Douglas Bullet, which I am a pretty big fan of. I'll play this. 6 Lin isn't bad either. Just because they are very low on hand. I don't have any real answer cards. And this swing is going to be very expensive. I can go ahead and just crack them for 8, though. And go 8, Banish. I believe I just have to give this up. Gain 1. They're going to trash it. I'm going to trash another card next turn. It's going to take away a lot of their resources. Unless if they decide to start using Marshall's ability. Okay. Goes ahead and activates it. 5 at my face. I'm going to take it for the card. I don't have a 3 to play, so we're not going to trigger. But I don't get any on plays. So that is a thing. Because they've already started using their black hole. I can go ahead and play this Bond Clay, ramp up to 7, then we're going to go 9. And then I can play Douglas, and he's got to activate main. So this can put on a lot of pressure, and he's going to have to keep giving 1 card up if he wants to be able to. Which is kind of why Zoro is pretty good still, too. But this is going to cost him 2 cards, or he's just going to lose that life. We're not going to trash anything. I guess I could have went 8, but ooh, we hit a teach. We like that. This is also really good, assuming he has no removal. Oh, no, I wouldn't get the ability because he doesn't ramp. That's right. So he's added a 10. We need to watch out for that because he's going to go 1, 2. Where's he at? Okay. 8 at my face. I'll take. Oh, this is big. I will trash. Let's see. Is he going to use his ability? I'll trash the Nico Robin and KO the Laboon. No ability. Okay. I could play Douglas Bullet, but I could play this and just make them trash a life right now. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to go 7. It's going to cost 2 if they want to save it. Now they have 10 drop. I could have played the Douglas. But yeah, they're super low on resources. Maybe I should add blockers into this deck. Gonna go for the minus play. You have 1 card in hand. Seven at my face. I'll go ahead and do that. Oh, they didn't remove it? Oh. Ha. I guess they figured it just wasn't worth it. Well, I know that this is Blackbeard. So I don't have a target for Nami. So 5 connects. I can go 6 clear here, 5 connects, play Douglas. Yeah, leave these 2 up. 6 here, this is, yeah. Okay, I did not know you got to draw a card. Got it. Yeah, I should have smacked the face first. Okay. Then we're going to play Douglas, and we're going to pass. Because all he's going to be able to do is 10 drop, freeze, nullify, and we should just be... That's funny. We have 1 card in hand. Ugh. Yeah, I think I just go 7/7. I guess I should have went all in. Not let this block for free. That was bad. Probably should have rested the stage and found that. Real talk. Yep. No, I thought there was an attach all active button at one point. Yeah. That just gets us there. Yeah. Should have just used this to search, trashing the searcher. It does the same thing. If they had played the 10 drop, I would have been punished severely. Had I just gone all in, though, they would have had to give me up the blocker. If they played another one, I could still just swing. They'd have to give me the blocker, and they wouldn't be able to establish their board. All right. Well, that's been this. More to come as we, of course, continue to update this. I'll kind of talk through some things here after this, and we'll go ahead and jump to that.